Hey guys, this is the Orange Bandit, and welcome to the Red Mountain Warrior. The essential mods for this build are Hyperion Dwemer Exoskeleton, Heavy Armory, Valkyrie, Aurora, the Dwarves Race mod, and Alternate Start. The race for this build is a Dwarf, also known as a Dwemer, which gives him a 10% bonus to enchanting and smithing. The standing stone he will use for this build is the Lord Stone, which allows you to deal more attack damage, high health, but less at low. Once a day, you can also use the power Kneel or Be Knelt, which summons a magical earthquake that smashes nearby enemies into the ground, doing magic damage as well. For stats, you will want to put 4 in health for every 1 in stamina. We can afford to put so much in health since our enchantments will give us a lot of stamina and stamina regen. The Red Mountain Warrior was born sometime before the Battle of Red Mountain. His parents were a notable Dwemer family in one of their subterranean cities in Morrowind. His young life was filled with combat training, smithing, and learning all about the glories of the Dwemer and their technology. Even though he would do these things almost every day, he didn't care. He loved learning about Dwemer society and how to smith and fight effectively. He especially loved learning about Kagranak, the High Priest, and his ideas. He was enthralled with the idea that the Dwemer might even be able to create a god. And so, when the day came when Kagranak asked him to be his apprentice, he jumped at the opportunity. Kagranak had been watching him for a while now, and had been impressed with his skills. While life had been going great and just seemed to be getting better for the warrior, would eventually all come crashing down. Because when the Dwemer were asked to stop work on their god by the Nevergreen, and they refused, war broke out between the Timer people of Morrowind and the Dwarves. The war culminated in the Battle of Red Mountain, which the warrior would even participate in. He took down hundreds of Chimer with his maul. He lifted his maul out of one slain Chimer. He saw one foolish one running at him with a sword. It looked as though it was pulsating with a strange purple aura. The warrior shrugged it off though, as he had just made hundreds of them. And what was one foolish one with a glowing sword going to do to him? Suddenly though, he raised one hand at the warrior, and then a ball of fire came hurtling out of his hand, and it was directed at him. Before he could raise his shield, the fire engulfed him and burned at his armor, damaging it severely. The Chimer hadn't stopped running at him, and before he could react, the Chimer thrust its sword to the dwarver's chest. The heathen looked at him and smirked as he fell to one knee. The warrior's vision began to blur, and his hearing began to falter, but he was able to hear the golden-skinned barbarian whisper in his ear, "You die now, with the rest of your race, and you'll never see them again." With those final words, the Chimer ripped his sword out of the warrior's chest. He collapsed on his back and faded into the cold relief of death. Though it felt as though it was beginning to get colder. He opened his eyes not to find him in his afterlife in a strange place, filled with broken buildings and thunder. He was in the Soul Cairn now. For nearly 4,000 years, he would wander aimlessly in the Soul Cairn, until an opportunity presented itself. With the looming return of the dragons, he was able to strike a deal with the shadowy master of this place, the Ideal Masters, to return to Tamriel if he would wipe them out. The Ideal Masters were at first puzzled by this request, but then he reminded them that many necromancers and others who would send them souls might die if the dragons are allowed to roam, and they cannot allow that to happen. So the Ideal Master granted his request and sent him back to Tamriel. For our alternate start, we will want to choose the option "I've been attacked and left for dead," since the Ideal Masters decided to send him back with only the bare essentials, i.e. clothes and some food. The first quest line you will want to do will be the main quest, so you can destroy the dragons as soon as possible. During this quest line, he will of course find out he is Dragonborn, and is a bit perplexed on what it actually is. But when he learns that he can use shouts, he believes that it must be a form of tonal magic, something his race had harnessed the power of, and wanted to get as many shouts as possible. The Dawn Guard and Dragonborn are optional. You will also want to do on the side of the Imperials. The Civil War on the side of the Imperials, since he believes the Golden Skin High Elves are actually the Chimer, the race his people were at war with. But if you wanted to make it a bit more historically accurate, you could roleplay that he learned the Chimer are in fact the Dwemer because they were cursed by Azora, and will want to join the Stormcloaks. The Thieves Guild and Dark Brotherhood are also options, though he isn't particularly evil or very stealthy. You will also want to do the Companions, but you will want to cure your lycanthropy as soon as possible, since the Dwemer scorned the Daedra and anything related to them. The main skills for this build are enchanting, smithing, heavy armor, block, one-handed, alchemy, and speech. Enchanting, you will want enchanting mastery, soul squeezer, soul siphon, thunderstruck, armor enchanter, weapon enchanter, soul enchanter, regalia enchanter, and extra effect. In smithing, you will want steel smithing, dwarven smithing, armor padding, arcane blacksmith, layered plates, and hidden enchantments. In heavy armor, you will want heavy armor mastery, heavy armor fit, cushioned, 2 out of 2, battle fatigue, a movable object, reap the whirlwind, face of the mountain, heavy armor training, matching heavy set, tower strength, elemental defense, and glancing blows. In block, you will want block mastery, quick reflexes, unwavering defense, deflect arrows, poke the dragon, elemental protection, block runner, shield charge, and stoneheart. In one-handed, you will want one-handed mastery, disciplined fighter, furious strength, valorous charge, crater maker, denting blows, disrupting strike, and victory rush, which is essential for this character. In alchemy, you will want alchemy mastery, benefactor, experimenter, green thumb, purity, which is optional, double toil and trouble, which is also optional. Finally, in speech, you will want speech mastery, tonal harmony, words of power, 3 out of 3, scald, and Dovazulon. The gear for this build will be a dwarven chestplate, enchanted with fortified stamina and stamina regen, a pair of dwarven gauntlets, enchanted with fortified one-handed and fortified block, a pair of dwarven boots, enchanted with fortified one-handed and fortified stamina. You will also want the Visage of Mzdund, which can't be enchanted, but it has a pretty cool enchantment on it already. It boosts your stamina by 60 points, and allows you to use a Steam Breath attack, which fits the build really well. You'll also want a gold ring and necklace, enchanted with fortified stamina, one-handed, and block. You'll also want golden tights armor from the modular clothing system mod, enchanted with fortified stamina, stamina regen, and a dwarven Hyperion from the Hyperion exoskeleton mod. For weapons, you'll want a dwarven maul, enchanted with absorb stamina and fire damage. As you can see on screen, my maul does just a little bit of damage. We'll also be posting a guide on how to make weapons with damage like this with no exploits very soon. I sincerely hoped you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you lovely people in the next video. Goodbye.